But I think that the thing that we really, really have to consider here, Bob, and I don't know. I mean, the fans are on top of it. They said it yesterday. They were chanting it. Is Kyle Schwarber a legitimate MVP candidate for the National League? Because I think he is.
Well, I think, unfortunately, I mean, the reality of it is this thing is sort of stacked against him a little bit. If you do the blind test where you say player A, player B, and you go Ohtani, Schwarber head to head, I mean, Ohtani has an edge on him in a couple different places, but Schwarber also has an edge in a few different places as well. The reality of it, though, and this sort of ties into what we talked about last week, is the way that baseball sort of fillets Ohtani. And I just don't know that it's going to be enough to overcome it. And I'm not sitting here saying that it's not warranted or that he doesn't have a case, but I think the reality of it is that Ohtani is Ohtani, and Schwarber's going to have to really bypass him in a lot of different facets in order to really win the thing. I think it's more likely that we're sitting here in November saying, wow, hell of a season. Any other year, if you're not going up against that guy, he might have won it as a primary DH, but I don't think he's going to. Does he deserve it? Sure. Does he deserve to be in the conversation? Absolutely. I don't think that he's going to win it.
PSU Flyers making my argument. Is there anyone in the NL more important to the success of his team than Schwarber is? The Phillies' entire offense is non-functional without him.
Yeah, I mean, this offense would be absolutely dreadful. And I know when we do wins above replacement, you're like, oh, where does he slot in? And I mean, I think personally, if the Phillies are sitting here 16 games over 500 today, I think the Phillies are probably 4 or 5 games over 500 without Kyle Schwarber and the impact that he's brought to the offense. Is he a 10-WAR player? No, of course not. So I know it doesn't work quite that way, but I just think he's been that significant. When you consider the struggles that Harper went through at the beginning of the year, some of the lack of punch, this offense, by and large, has not been able to hit a ton of home runs, although that has changed since the All-Star break. I am aware that they lead baseball in home runs since the All-Star break, which is stunning, but a lot of that is behind Schwarber and Harper. Yeah, I mean, Dodgers could survive without Ohtani, you would think. I mean, would they be a lesser team? Sure, but the Phillies would be lost without Schwarber. It'd be night and day.
So here's a question, and I'm going to bring up a comment from one of our viewers in just a second. But I wouldn't have thought this before the All-Star break, in all honesty. I thought he had a shot at 50, but now like 50 seems to be almost a lock. He is on pace to tie Ryan Howard's franchise record of 58. Like right now, if he keeps up the pace, he's on 40 home runs in 112 games. First of all, fastest in Phillies history to 40 home runs. But if he keeps up the pace he's on, he will tie Ryan Howard at 58. If he goes a little bit faster than 58, as Smy Guy says, if he hits 60, it would be tough to ignore.
It would be.
Right? I mean, and I think that's really got to be the question. Like, if he starts making this home run chase kind of an interesting thing down the stretch, he'll probably get the national attention that maybe most people competing against Ohtani don't get, and that could help.
Well, I think it does help that it's the Phillies. It's a high-profile team. It's a team that in this moment is in a pretty hotly contested division race against another high-profile team. So I think they're going to get a lot of looks. And yeah, if he gets to 60, that's a different story. I mean, his last 7 days, he's really turned it on. 4 home runs. Had the big RBI game last night. That's 10 RBI now in the last 7 days. He's on pace. I mean, these are his on pace numbers right now. 600 at bats, 155 hits, 25 doubles, 58 home runs, 136 runs batted in, and oh, by the way, 107 walks. I mean, these are staggering numbers. And I know that this is the conversation in the moment. It's about Schwarber and this team and this run and can they do it? And I don't want to get too far ahead of the conversation, but like the reality is that the economics of what he is about to embark upon this offseason have changed dramatically since what they would have been had we had this conversation in March about, do you bring back Kyle Schwarber? Oh, by the way, what will it take? Because if we had this conversation then, I would have said, okay, well, if he's on a 4-year, $80 million deal now, he's a little bit older. He's not really a defensive factor. Do you just simply do the same deal over again and give him, 375, 480, if you think, hey, things are escalating a little bit, 485, those aren't the numbers anymore. Unless I'm getting carried away, unless I'm a prisoner of the moment here, this thing's starting to feel like it's going to be $100 million plus when it's all said and done.
It may be 100. I think you could be looking at, is he a guy that gets 25 a year? I mean, that's possible. The only thing that I say,
if he's a 20 a year guy now, is 25 a year enough of a jump considering what this transformation is? Like,
but here's why I say that it may be. First of all, he's a designated hitter, right? And so DHs, unless your name is Ohtani, there's a limit, right, to what DHs usually make. Secondly, you have the labor war coming. And I don't think teams are going to go ridiculous with these next contracts next year. In fact, I think free agency next year is going to be one of those stalled out like winters. Like we're going to be like, oh, we're all excited for free agency, and then we don't hear anything until February. Like,
okay,
I think that's what we're looking at.
Let me interject this question because it's very relative to your point, or relevant to your point. Does a player like Kyle Schwarber, like let's just say there is this uncertainty about what the next labor deal is going to look like, if they're even going to play baseball in a couple of years, are we looking at 1994 all over again? Like, okay, so the question then is this: if you are a player, do you take the certainty of a multi-year deal at perhaps a deflated price, or do you say, I'm going to go on a 1-year deal and let's just see where the dust settles thereafter, and then I'll consider a more long-term approach after there's a new labor deal?
That's a fair question, and it very well could be that. Like, and I think you might see a number of guys who are free agents this year might end up doing something like that, just to see if the dust settles. And I think that
it's also different when you're 33 years old. He's a little bit older. Does he want the certainty? Does he want?
So yeah, and so like I mean, maybe a guy like Schwarber looks at it and says, if the Phillies, for example, are willing to give me 4 or 5 years guaranteed money, I'll take that. Even though I maybe could make more, not with the uncertainty of what's going to happen in 27 and beyond with the new CBA. Like maybe it's worth that not to gamble at this point. I'm having a career year, just cash in on it now and be happy.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps. I don't know how he's going to do it. I don't know how he views it. And I think that's another wrinkle in this whole situation. I mean, it is clear as day that you're like, well, the Phillies have to pay him, right? He means too much to the team from its offensive structure. He means too much to the team from the clubhouse component. And then you have a guy that, oh, by the way, if you consider yourself to be a serious organization, he's done all the right things and he's going to pop 60 home runs and knock in 130 plus, and you're going to let the guy walk when, also take into consideration that the clock is ticking on Zach Wheeler, the clock is ticking on Bryce Harper's prime. Like, you're here now, you're at that, you've arrived. And
yeah,
the thing that becomes interesting is if you don't re-sign Schwarber, do you have enough A, financial flexibility, but B, creativity to build back your offense in a way that it doesn't devastate you if he walks out the door? And I'm not entirely sure that they do.
No, I'm in agreement with you. I mean, a lot will depend on what you have coming from the minor leagues, but there's nothing that's a certainty down there. There's some interesting characters, but that story is yet to be written. And so while you wait to figure out who they are and what they are, you would prefer to have the certainty of a player like Kyle Schwarber.